Guys, it's time to admit that I was wrong about something.
It's not true. That's impossible.
Probably about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago now, I made this video, Goodbye Ashika Island. I talked about how Ashika Island was no doubt the worst resurgence map and is going away forever. Well, sure enough, it's back in the rotation in Warzone. I mean, as you can see, we're looking at it right on the screen here. A lot of people are saying that Ashika Island is being slept upon. I'm gonna be honest, I'm here to say that I'm sorry, because I think Ashika Island is getting too much hate, and I don't want to be one of the people perpetuating this. Because I feel like for many people, Ashika Island is up there in terms of maps, almost as much as Rebirth Island. And I didn't realize how much people actually liked Ashika Island. But there is a big problem that nobody's talking about. So in this video today, we're going to talk about the future of Ashika Island, why it gets a bad rep, and is it going to remain in the game in the future? Let's get into it. Part of the reason that Ashika Island gets such a bad rap is that it came into the game at one of its worst points in Warzone history. Literally when Warzone came out, it didn't have a resurgence mode. That's right. Warzone 2 dropped without Rebirth Island, without Fortune's Keep, but not only that, without any form of resurgence map. After Resurgence was the most popular mode at the end of Warzone. Now, if that isn't one of the most catastrophic, terrible decisions by Activision, I don't know what is. But when Ashika Island came into the game, it actually might have come into the game too early. Not only could you not cancel your slide, which we already know from Warzone 2, you couldn't do simple things like jump while strafing, plate while running. I mean, do we even need to go any further? That's absolutely atrocious. And Ashika Island matched these in-game mechanics with a dark, dismal theme that looked like it was out of a Bob Ross painting. Yep. It was literally like dropping into seasonal depression. I mean, I actually went and made a Fortnite video at this point, and the first one I made got 4 million views. And I was thinking, maybe it's time to ditch Warzone.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
But I kept playing Ashika because I loved Warzone. I believed in the game, and sure enough, here we are, where the game's in one of the best states it's ever been. And what else is in one of the best states it's ever been? Oh yeah, Ashika Island. Because Ashika Island with movement is actually pretty good. There's an underground area to play. There's lots of unique POIs in terms of just different buildings there, like farms having a unique appeal versus an area like Tezuki Sauce Castle. Because Tezuki Castle is honestly, it's type of environment that you can't really play in anywhere. I mean, it's got very unique buildings. Now, compare that to Vondel, where there's a rooftop everywhere. A lot of people are saying that Vondel is a camping rooftop simulator, while Ashika Island allows for a little more freedom of play. Now, that's kind of the history and the rundown of why people like Ashika Island, right? The reason they like it is simple. You can hold power positions, and if you basically are there and hold the rotation, there's not a lot of cover to rotate to. So endgames in Ashika do really reward positioning. I feel like that's why a lot of people like it. Also, there's not as many rooftops to camp, but there is a lot of power positions to hold. So one, a little less camping than Vondel, and it's a little less repetitive because there's a little more unique environments, and some people don't like running up and down staircases all day in Vondel. I get it. Now, we have established why everybody likes Ashika Island, but we've still got an issue, and that's where does it fit in? Because we've already established there's not a lot of openings in Warzone playlists. When you look at the different playlists that we have here, we have Battle Royale for Vondel, we have Ranked Resurgence, Plunder, Lockdown, which isn't in the rotation. Then we've got, in addition to that, basically 4 main Resurgence playlists. We have Resurgence Solos, which is Fortune's Keep right now, Urzikstan Duos, Resurgence Trios, Ashika Island, and then of course, when you go to create a private match, just so I can show you guys, you can do Vondel or Fortune's Keep. There's also ranked, but there is not any form of Ashika Island there. So that's kind of the dilemma that we're running into. Where do we go? And I kind of do have a solution, but I also want to talk about why I think Ashika Island actually should stay, and I'm going to actually correct myself and say I'm wrong from past videos. So first of all, let's kind of talk through my solution here. My solution is that when you actually go to the menu, we keep quads as a rotating playlist. What that means is that no matter what, you can actually click into quads and you can play Vondel, Fortune's Keep, Rebirth, or Ashika Island. We're gonna exclude Urzikstan because I'm gonna be honest, while I've actually heard that Urzikstan is a popular resurgence map, I just find that hard to believe. I just don't think there's enough people playing it to merit it being in quads on a permanent rotation. But I think the 4 of those always need to be in quads, and here's why. 1, that's the max that you can have, and you should always be able to play quads with your buddies, which whatever playlist you want. There should not be this stupid thing where if I have my friends on and I want to play Fortune's Keep, there's only solos. I'm sorry, that is stupid. You should be able to play with your homies. If you say, hey, let's hop on, and you guys want to pick a map, you should be able to play. Now, the other thing about quads, if you're a player like myself, who you prefer to play solo, but you like to play solo trios. You guys saw I dropped 40 in solo trios the other day. You can play solo quads, right? Or you can play with randoms, or if you have 2 to 3 people, you can suck it up and have that extra player. I think, yes, it sucks if I want to play trios with my 2 friends and I want to play Ashika, I can't, but at least I can still play it and have a random teammate or pick up a 4th, right? That's better than not being able to play it at all because I can't play solos with 3 people, right? So I think that's the best alternative here as far as playlists, fixing it, how we do it. However, then we get to the question of what do we kind of do from there? So what do we put in trios? What do we put duos? What do we put solos? I don't think the player base and the servers are going to allow us to be able to keep the exact same mode in trios, duos, and solos. So I think as long as you have a rotation in quads there, I think that we should have the ability to also play lockdown, which is going to help a lot. I think lockdown and plunder quads, they at least need to rotate every 15 minutes. Put a rotation so that plunder and lockdown people are able to play it every single day, at least every 15 minutes. Because then if you do a plunder match, it's going to take longer than 15 minutes and you can queue back in a plunder. If you're lockdown, you just wait 15 minutes and then you queue in. Because I like to warm up with lockdown and I like to go in there and get weapon inspects for thumbnails. Like, lockdown needs to be a thing in my opinion. And then we have the other issue of Vondel Battle Royale, of course, which is trios. But first, let's talk about Resurgence. So my thought here is that you rotate each of the maps for Resurgence on a 10-minute timer. So trios is Rebirth, Fortune's Keep, and Vondel rotating every 10 minutes. That way, every 30 minutes, you can switch it up. Or you can just pick quads. So say I go into Rebirth quads, but I have a trio. Then I can see if it matches up after that time, and I can play Rebirth trios. Same thing with duos. So that means I can play one of these every 10 minutes. Say I want to play Resurgence, Rebirth solos. Boom. Rebirth solos, it's there. Then I have to wait another 20 minutes, but hey, at least I can go into maybe duos after that. Or solo duos, solo trios. So I think we exclude Ashika from these and just leave it as quads. And then we allow these to rotate every 5 to 10 minutes. Maybe 5 is better. I don't know. Every 5 minutes. I think 5 minutes would actually maybe be better now that I'm thinking about it out loud. Because imagine you go into like Resurgence solos. I queue into Rebirth solos. The match takes me 15 minutes. Well, that means that I'll be able to queue back into that mode afterwards, which allows for a good rotation. Same thing with duos, trios. And then Ashika Island, I can just play quads whenever I want to play it. Now for Battle Royale, I think it gets a little more difficult. I just think you need to have a queue for Battle Royale quads and allow Vondel Battle Royale and Urzikstan and then make the rest of these Urzikstan. That's kind of my take on the rotations. I want to know down in the comments. I will be making a longer video on this, but what do you guys think about that solution and system? And then let's kind of talk through Ashika Island and why maybe it's better than we thought and why it should stay in the game. So as you can tell from my background, it's a little bit later out. The earlier part of the video here, I recorded at like 5 or 6 a.m. and the gameplay of Ashika actually corrupted, but I think you guys get the point. We don't really need to record an Ashika Island gameplay to kind of get your thoughts on it, get my thoughts out there on Ashika Island and what its legacy will be. But I do want to know down in the comments what you guys think about Ashika. Do you think it should be removed if we have to choose a map? And what would you guys redo about my playlist rotation choice? And as always, man, I'd love for you guys to join in a live stream sometime. I'm actually going to experiment with doing a shorts and a live stream right on this channel. A lot of people don't know that we stream, but if you like crazy ideas, I do all sorts of stuff like mouse and keyboard and trying out 0 kill wins like we did with Jamcal today. So let me know down in the comments what you want to see in future videos, streams, things like that. I really appreciate the support, guys. And as always, stay humble, stay hungry, drop a sub and like. We'll see you guys tomorrow.